Mark Feinsand with us, leading the league in information and in studio. Happy holidays, Mark. Good to have you in with us.
Holidays, fellas. Nice to be here.
How was Orlando for you, by the way?
I was very happy to leave.
And you didn't even
people always ask me, is Orlando a good spot for the winter meetings? I said, it doesn't matter where the winter meetings are. We never leave the hotel. So
right.
Other than Nashville, because I can't find my room at that place in the Opryland, it was just so big.
Yeah.
So they should just have them in San Diego every year.
I want to know the batteries.
The best of all of them.
I want to know your battery supply for the phone, because your phone cannot die.
That is true. I keep an extra battery with me, although I'll run up to my room 2 or 3 times a day got that fast charger. You plug it in like a half an hour and it does everything. So I'll go up there and charge it. If it gets below like 40%, I start getting
Have you ever
nervous.
panicked like this thing's going to run out in the middle of something?
Oh, 100%. It's terrifying.
Well, look, we did have a couple of big deals reported at the winter meetings. Pete Alonso to the Orioles, big deal. Schwarber back on a record-setting deal with the Phillies. Diaz across the coast to the LA Dodgers on a record-setting deal. However, you've identified 5 dominoes, in your words, that need to fall in order for the rest of the market to come together.
Similar to what happened at the meetings. We said Schwarber was the first domino that had to fall. That would get Alonso going. I think Kyle Tucker's the first domino now that needs to fall. Tucker has a big market. The Blue Jays are very into him. He visited with them. There are other teams, the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, who are also looking at Kyle Tucker. But I think when Tucker signs, and I don't know that he's going to be the first, but if he is, that will automatically make Cody Bellinger the next most important guy, because for the teams that aren't going to get Kyle Tucker, Bellinger's right on deck. So let's assume that Tucker goes to the Blue Jays. Well, I think the Yankees have to go get Cody Bellinger, get him re-signed. He was such a good fit there.
Now, how's the puppeteer handling all this, being Scott Boras? Because he's got everybody.
Well, he doesn't have Tucker.
He doesn't have Tucker?
No.
Oh, I thought he had Tucker, too.
Nope.
Excuse me?
He's got Bellinger, and he's got the next guy on my list, which is Alex Bregman. So the Mets are very in on Bellinger. Let's assume Bellinger returns to the Yankees. Well, the Mets still have some work to do. I don't know if you heard, they lost a couple of their players already.
Yes, a few.
And I think Bregman makes sense. You can move Mark Vantos over to first base, or Brett Beatty. You know, you've got some guys you can move around. Bregman is a guy, fits in the middle of that lineup. Big player, big postseason player, and I think the kind of name the Mets could bring
Anyway,
in.
they get both, Bellinger and Bregman.
I mean, I never say never, but I would say that's probably unlikely. When Bregman goes, who's the best infielder left at that point? Bo Bichette. Now, the Red Sox would be losing Bregman. I could see Bo Bichette winding up in Boston, right? They've got some infielders they can move around there. Bichette. The only thing I don't see is Toronto getting Tucker and Bichette. Now, if Tucker goes somewhere else, then maybe Bichette returns to Toronto. But that's why these dominoes are all sort of interlocking and they all play off each other. Then if Bregman and Bichette are gone, right, the Cubs are a team that's been in on a lot of these guys. I see Munetaka Murakami, the big slugger from Japan, potentially going to the Cubs. Here's the interesting thing. We're talking about dominoes. This is my number 5 guy. He's got to sign in the next 6 days. His posting window ends on December 22nd.
Wow.
So he could be the first guy to go, but the Cubs may be looking at some of the other guys saying their price ranges are a little out of their comfort zone. Murakami might be a better fit there to bring in some power.
Okay, I want to pause you on Murakami real quick and go back to that posting December 22nd. Explain that rule, why they would have that in.
So once a player is posted from Japan, he has a 45-day window to sign. He was the first guy of the 3 major Japanese players to be posted. He has to sign by December 22nd, or else he can't sign with the big league team this winter. So there is a hard deadline on him to sign, which is going to make it really interesting for him.
Was this just a positionless player? Did you keep like Framber off the list on purpose, or do you not consider him one of those dominoes?
So I think the problem is you've got 3 or 4 big pitchers left on the market. Framber, Michael King, Zach Gallen, Imai, Ranger Suarez. So those 5 are probably considered the 5 top. Since Dylan Cease signed his deal with Toronto, the pitching market expectations went much higher.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take longer for those guys to sign. Michael King could be the first of that group to sign.
Right.
But I think with Framber, with Suarez, with Imai, they're looking for 5, 6, 7-year deals. Remember, Cease got 7 for $210. Really blew out the pitching market, and I think the expectation level is a lot higher, and it may take a little longer for them.
How do you right that ship if Cease is considered overpaid? And I'm a team going, hold it. They overpaid for him. For their own personal reasons, that's not where we're going. How do you get a player to go, I'm sorry, but I'm not moving?
Well, you wait. And then when we get into January, and then if it gets to February, players are going to say, I need to sign with the team. I want to get something done. But it really set the market so high on the starting pitching front that I just think the expectation level was, well, we're not going to settle on something now. We're going to try to shoot for the stars like Dylan.
And also on the pitching front, beginning of this offseason, there was a big-time market for ninth-inning guys. There were a lot of closers that were out there. Kind of started with the Braves bringing back Iglesias, and then the dominoes fell, to use your terminology, until there was one man standing, and he's still there, and that's Pete Fairbanks. Where for him?
Yeah, Pete Fairbanks is in a really good spot right now. The relief pitching market has been the most active market in the game this winter. I think we've seen 8 or 10 legitimate back-end bullpen guys all go, from 3-year deals for Diaz and Devin Williams and Tyler Rogers. You got Ryan Helsley. So Fairbanks is really the last guy standing. He's got 5 or 6 teams, the same teams we've been hearing on everybody else. The Phillies, the Cubs, the Mets, the Yankees. A lot of teams looking at Pete Fairbanks. He could take his time now. He can wait for the right deal because he is the most proven guy out there in this role. You've got a few other relievers who have some, a little bit of a track record. Luke Weaver has a couple good years, but Fairbanks to me is far and away the best reliever left on the market, and so he's going to be in a really good spot.
Could he push it to 4 years then and change the whole market?
I doubt it. I think 3 would be the most, maybe even a 2-year deal for Pete Fairbanks. Remember, he got non-tendered by the Rays, had an $11 million option, and they declined it and let him go back to the free agent market. But I think when you look at where like Ryan Helsley got that 2-year, $28 million deal, somewhere in that range could be what we're looking at.
He's also the most honest out there, and he is a critic of his own performances, Pete Fairbanks.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that, but for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
Pete, where do you kind of go from here? Is it looking at tape? Is it going through mechanics? Where do you kind of go from here?
You tell me. I've tried that. If you got an answer, I'd love to hear. Just, not going to let it beat me up for, I'll maybe give it till 10. It's 9:44 right now. We'll give it 16 minutes of sulk, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
And he did get back out there and figure it out. I love the transparency, a little humor there. That was good stuff.
I would have liked to have heard Adam's very answer to what the problem was, because I'm sure Adam had his thoughts.
He fixed it. Whatever it was, he fixed it. And happy 32nd birthday to Pete Fairbanks today. So maybe he signs on his birthday.
That'd be cool.
How about somebody write you like an $80 million check for 4 years on that birthday?
Not bad.
Love it.
My birthday's Thursday, if anybody wants it.
Oh, okay, good. Good to know.